In Unit 1 and 2, we are dealing with green economics. What is green economics? Why we need to study green economics? Its intellectual roots and the changing economy by green economics. Now, why we have clubbed this Unit 1 and Unit 2? Because this Unit 1 and Unit 2 are having similar and related concepts. So for better understanding of the students, I have clubbed this Unit 1 and Unit 2. Unit 3, it deals with sustainable development and poverty eradication. How by practicing sustainable development, poverty can be eradicated. Then green economy matters most for the developing countries. We need to understand that this importance of green economics is much more in developing countries than developed world, because many of the developed countries are already practicing this green economic strategy and green economic policies. In Unit 4, we are dealing with sustainability values, guiding vision, balance and growth. Professor Douthwaite's criteria for achieving green growth, economics and relationships, and how re-embedding these economics in nature. In Unit 5, it deals with institutional analytics and adaptive allocations and allocative efficiencies, because these are interconnected. We also deal with the concepts of net national product and gross domestic product, how we take environmental considerations in calculating these net national products. We also talk about cost benefit analysis here, because cost benefit analysis is a very important and strong tool in the hands of the manager to assess, to estimate and to gauge the impact of environmental aspects on the functioning of the organization, how these affects the whole economy. In Unit 6, we are dealing with role of new industrial economics, economic and environmental externalities and sustainability concepts. We also focus on the relationship between economy and the environment. In Unit 7, it deals with whether green economy will lead to more work or less work, because in capitalistic structure of the economy, huge production, distribution, marketing, etc. to earn more profits. So if we shift towards the green economy format, green economy strategies, whether there will be more work or less work, that we need to understand. In Unit 8, the students will be given exposure about the politics of money, the money and the global injustice, the financial and ecological instability for creation of money. So in the whole world, the monetary system or monetary principles or money values are followed, but green economics is trying to go beyond the realm of money value or monetary aspects. So managers need to understand that the whole production, distribution, etc. we can view beyond the formal economy also. In Unit 9, we are dealing with green business and limitation of the market economy and technological solution. At present, the market economy is in operation and all the countries are following the market economy system. So the green economy is trying to challenge this market economy framework, and they are trying to give a new suggestions, new ideas, alternative to the market economy, and how this market economy can be realigned by taking into account climate change and carbon emissions, etc. In Unit 10, we are talking about policy context of the green economics, where ecological modernization, policy reaction to climate change issues with GDP calculation, etc. Issues of measurement, etc. are discussed. In Unit 11, the comparative advantage, free trade and climate change, etc. are discussed. This unit also deals with green trade and green trade, whether it is to be organized locally or globally. The whole business, whether it should be global business or it should be local business, a new kind of orientation towards localization from the globalization. In Unit 12, we are dealing with localization to swap globalization, whether localization can be put in place by replacing the globalization, because there is a dichotomy between localization and globalization. We are also concerned about protection for local economies, self-reliant local economies, the bioregional economy. In Unit 13, it is comprehensively dealing with theory of green taxation. Managers must understand the concept of green taxation, strategic taxation, tax on commons and eco-taxation. How these green taxes can influence the behavior of the human beings. If it positively contributes, we can reduce the green tax. If it is environmentally hazardous or negatively contributing, then we must impose more green tax to control the behavior of the people towards several production and distribution of the goods and services. In Unit 14, it comprehensively elaborates the green approach to social policy and how to eradicate poverty and increase welfare. Distribution of wealth and poverty is also taken care of, because there is a huge gap between rich and the poorer nations, between the developed and developing countries. So how redistribution has to take place? The green economic policy has been taken by several countries in this direction. There is also important issues like land and taxation, etc. In Unit 15, there are discussion on sustainable development and poverty eradication. Also, we focus on green economy that matters for developing countries. Several global organizations like United Nations Environment Programme, UNCTAD, etc. have been practicing these policies in several countries and prescribe these policies for several countries which are in practice. So, there are some principles of green economy, and green economy roadmap is there that needs to be followed by several countries. Some of the developed countries are already following, while many of the developing countries are not yet following the course of the green economics policies. In Unit 16, we are concerned with national strategies for green economics. Several countries like Barbados, Nepal, Ethiopia, Jordan, UK, Canada, South Africa. In these countries, how green economic policies have been practiced, and they have received the desired outcome in terms of green economic policies. There is also a green economy index. That index is a measurement tool for the performance measurement of the countries. So, the units 16, 17, 18, 19 and 20, all these units are dealing with the practice of green economic strategies in several countries. So, I shall only give an overview of several countries where these green economic policies are implemented and different kind of results were achieved. And managers need to understand the practice of this policy in several countries so that These policies can further be implemented, practiced in several other developing countries where there is a urgent need for it. In Unit 17, there are concepts like green growth, developing countries and green growth, from growth to green growth, how we need to have a transition from the economic growth to the concept of green growth, green development, incorporating green growth and green development policies into reform program, our structural reform programs, etc. Inclusive green growth and shaping green growth. Also, low carbon green growth roadmap for Asia. In Unit 18, we are talking about green growth strategy of Korea, Cambodia, green growth roadmap of Cambodia, Czech Republic, Denmark, Netherlands, and also sustainable growth of Singapore. Managers need to understand how Singapore has achieved sustainable growth. It is a lesson for other countries, organizations in the other countries to follow. In Unit 19, it is focusing on low emission development strategies, low carbon growth plans, promoting clean growth, low emissions of development strategy, challenges of low carbon development. Actually, what managers need to understand that these low carbon strategies and low carbon growth, clean growth, actually not only the agenda to be followed by the government, it is also equally important for the business organizations and managers to play their role in this direction so that national achievement and national policies can be very practically implemented. In session 20, it deals with low carbon development for Mexico, low carbon development for Brazil, low carbon growth plan for Australia, Colombia, and low carbon development strategy, building a low carbon Indian economy. So, very comprehensively, all these units from 16 to 20 discusses different countries' green economy strategies and how they have implemented, how far they have been successful in achieving the green economy targets. And this will remain a very useful lesson for the rest of the countries where these policies has not yet been implemented, and the managers and the business organizations need to take lessons to implement this in their the production, distribution, etc.